everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today is a special day one because this is my first video that I'm going to be putting out after 1,000 subscribers. So thank you very much to everybody who has subscribed to the channel. And for this special event we have a guest. I rarely have people on my channel, but today we're bringing a special guest because I have a little series that I'll be putting out about menstruation, because 80% of you are females and menstruation is something that we all go through, and Brenda is kind of an expert in this field.
Okay.
Yeah, and so yeah, that's basically it. This is day 6 of quarantine, so if you don't know, coronavirus is killing people, so stay safe, wash your hands, don't touch your face, and just be alive. So let's just get straight into this. Brenda, please introduce yourself. Who are you, what do you do, and why are you here?
Okay, thank you, Sandra. My name is Chi Brenda. I'm from Cameroon and I'm now in my 3rd year of studies, and as you know, I study agricultural sciences like Sandra, and I consider myself as a menstrual hygiene management trainer. Meaning I train girls on how to use sanitary pads, the reusable sanitary pads and the menstrual cups.
So Brenda is very special. She has a little business that she runs here, and my next video is going to be on my first experience. I think I actually filmed my first experience with my menstrual cup. Yeah, so this is like going to be a little series on menstruation. So I'm going to ask her a few questions. We're going to show you some samples of sustainable sanitary menstrual products.
Okay,
that's how they say it, right? And yeah, we're going to debunk some myths and have some fun as ladies here. So if you're a boy, please check out, just leave now.
Yeah.
Or unless you want to buy something for your girlfriend.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're going to start first with questions about sanitary pads. So what we want to know is, why don't you recommend the usage of sanitary pads for menstrual hygiene?
Okay, we're going to begin by looking at the components and make up a sanitary pad. We have cotton, a plastic material that makes it impermeable, and some chemicals that helps it to absorb a lot of blood. So usually when we put this on, we feel like there's a lot of heat around our vaginas because there's no room for the passage of air, especially when you're doing sports. And also there's a lot of environmental contamination due to this. Each year, all the women in the world will use about 100,000 tons of sanitary pads. They end up underground, in the sea, and they end up being burned. Carbon dioxide, greenhouse effect, and climate change, right? And the third reason is because to buy these pads each month is somehow expensive for some girls.
Well, if I calculated all the money I've used since 13 years old, it's too much.
And I think the menstrual cups are more efficient than this.
Which alternative do you suggest for menstrual hygiene management?
Okay. The first one I recommend are the menstrual cups because they last for 10 years, they're eco-friendly. Another one I recommend are the reusable pads. Those ones, they last for 2 years, and just that you need a lot of water to wash them, and you need an average of about 6 pads because you need to wash, dry, and you need to have one in stock so you don't get stained without any pad. And I also recommend sati pads. I've never used those pads, but they are from India and they're made out of banana fibers.
Really?
Yeah. They just last 6 months to decompose in the soil. I really wish I could use them, but maybe one day I'll use them.
Never ever heard of those.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask about menstrual cups, which you just mentioned. What is a menstrual cup?
Okay, we have a sample here.
It's pretty.
It's one. Okay, but this is the largest size, right? So don't get scared. A menstrual cup is a medical silicone feminine article, and it's a cup shape. That's why you call it a menstrual cup. It's very important that I note that it is medical silicone because it is silicone that has been certified for this purpose. It is inserted in the vaginal cavity and it sits like this. It collects blood, and after you remove it and dump. So what the sanitary pad do is that they absorb blood, and when you finish you have to dump the pad. While this one, it collects blood. That's why you can use 1 cup for 10 years. And usually you can keep it in your vagina for 8 to 12 hours. That's the recommendation. Yeah, the recommended time.
How do you determine the size of the menstrual cup that best suits you?
Okay, there are 4 main factors. The first one is your age. For girls below 17 years, we recommend, if you're below 17 years, you have never given birth to a child through your vagina, we recommend the smallest size, the XS.
Which is extra small?
Yes. And for girls between 17 and 30 that they have never given birth to their vagina, we recommend the medium size. And for girls above 30 and they have children through their vagina, we recommend the large size. Another very important factor is the height of the cervix. This one is super important.
How do you know the height?
Okay, that's a good question. Usually, a doctor can tell you the height of your cervix because what he does is that he's going to insert his finger into your vagina, and depending on how deep the finger enters, it means that that's where your cervix is. And if the finger enters completely, it means you have a high cervix. If your finger just enters half, it means you have a medium cervix, and if just the tip enters, it means you have a low cervix. So a girl can be 17 years and she has a high cervix, and it will be better for her to use a larger size. So the age, the menstrual flow, and if you have given birth, there are factors, yes. But I personally think the most important factor is the height of your cervix. And don't be afraid, you can also do that. Not only doctors can tell me the height of your cervix, you can also decide that, okay, I'm going to look for my cervix. For the first time, maybe you'll not be able to identify because there are a lot of organs there, but it's something fleshy and it has like a hole. So maybe when you're practicing...
So you can feel it?
Yeah, you can feel it.
It's like me learning new things today.
It's like maybe when you're doing 3 to 4 times, then you'll be like, okay, I'm feeling this myself. It's like when you're doing that to a cow. When you insert the first time, you don't know what is what, but with time you go, okay, this is the rectum, this is this, and
So, how is the menstrual cup used?
Okay, how is it used? The first step that you need to know about menstrual cup, the type of folds. Okay, I'm going to show you 4 basic folds. The first one is a C fold. You fold like this and you bend into 2. This one I think is really large. I don't use this one, but some girls use it. The second one is the rose fold. You use one finger and you pull it down, and there's a tube here and you insert. The next fold is the coil fold. This one is the one I really love. You start rubbing from one edge to the other edge, and it looks like a coil, and you insert. And the last fold is a 7 fold, where you just bend like this. I don't know if you can see.
I knew the C fold and the 7 fold. I didn't know the rose one and the coil one.
Okay.
But then how do you know it has unfolded?
Okay, we're going to get to that.
Oh, okay.
Now there are some steps. The second step is that you need to wash your hands before touching the cups. It's fundamental because you can get a vaginal infection if you don't wash your hands. We have a lot of bacteria here. The next thing you need to know is the position. There are 3 positions. Maybe in the internet you get more, but I always recommend that you try one of the 3. One is you stand and you put one leg on the porthole because you need your vagina to be very open. The second one, you stoop a little bit. And the third one is you stoop completely. That means your buttocks is almost touching the floor and you open your legs.
I stooped completely. I was squatting.
Okay. So you have washed your hands, you know your food. If it's your first time, I advise you to use your left hand to touch your vagina to identify which is my urethra, which is my vagina, which is my anus, because the girls we have to be opening. You don't want to end up inserting the menstrual cup in the anus.
And
so it's very
important.
important.
I think you would know if you're touching your anus.
Yeah. So it's very important that you identify that, because I think some girls, they never take time to look at what's in between their legs. After identify that, give yourself 10 seconds to relax. Because if your muscles are contracted, you find difficulties to insert the cup.
Which is the problem I was facing.
You need to tell yourself, okay girl, I'm doing this. And the next step is that after folding, you now know where the vagina is. You use this hand to open the labia majora, the labia minora, and you insert it bit by bit, and the cup opens. And this is how it sits. The tail is outside and the cup is inside the vaginal cavity. And after now to know if the cup is open, what you can do is you can use these 2 fingers to try to rotate the cup. Because if it is folded, it will obviously open. Or if you feel like your vagina is large enough, you can use one finger, you touch the lining and see, okay, is it folded? I'm going to remove it and put it back. That's the way you know. The next step is how to remove the menstrual cup. You have it this way. This tail is not for you to remove it, it's just for you to identify the position. Because if you remove it like this, it's going to pain. So now that you know, okay, my menstrual cup is found, you use your 2 fingers, you pinch it, you're going to break. There's a vacuum. When you put the menstrual cup, you create a vacuum. So when you try to pinch it, the vacuum breaks and you can easily remove it bit by bit, vertically here. And you'll be like, okay, I always like to check the amount of menses I have each day. Because in most menstrual cups, they come with dimensions. So I'm like, okay, today I menstruated 20 milliliters of blood. that's very good. I dump and I rinse it under the shower with no soap. There are 2 holes here. You make sure you rinse these holes because blood always comes and hangs here. You rinse this other hole and you insert it again. Yeah.
So we're going to get into a very interesting part. We're talking about the myths now. So for ladies who are virgins, does the cup de-virgin you? Like, does it deflower you?
That's a good question. Okay, you first need to know what virginity is. A virgin is a girl that has never had sex, be it through her mouth, through her anus, or through her vagina. But what happens is that in our culture, we like to relate virginity and the hymen, something that is not true. Because a girl can have a hymen, but she had sex through her mouth or through her anus, and she's not more a virgin. It's very clear, right? Or maybe lesbians or the gays that they don't have sex like through their sex organs. We cannot consider them to be virgin because the girl has a hymen. No. And girls are born with different type of hymens. There are some that are completely closed. Some are even born without hymen. And usually when we reach the age of 17, we don't have the hymen because of the sporting activities we do. In our case, we love riding bikes and they break open. And so if you are a girl and you have a hymen and you're trying to use the menstrual cup, maybe it breaks your hymen and you succeed to insert it, you remain a virgin because you have not had sex. Very important.
Because I had read somewhere that they don't recommend it for females who are still virgins because maybe they're not used to having things go up in there. So anyway, that's good to know. I didn't know about that. Can a menstrual cup cause sexual pleasure?
Oh, that's a good question. No. Okay, we're going to see why the answer is no. If you look at the female reproductive system, we have the labia majora, those are the larger lips, labia minora, the smaller ones, and we have the clitoris.
Guys, can you please go look at your vaginas if you don't know what we're talking about?
Yeah.
I'll insert a picture here of the parts, but I also encourage you guys to get to know yourselves.
And to look on the... Okay, the part in charge of excitement is the clitoris. And when you're inserting the menstrual cup, you have nothing to do with your clitoris. If a girl decides to touch her clitoris because she wants it, right? Okay, so another thing, in the vagina is like a tube. I hope you know that it's not this external part. No, the vagina is like an elastic tube. So what happens is that the vagina has nerves. And it's possible that during sex, the nerves get excited. But a menstrual cup can't cause the nerves to be excited. Because when you put the menstrual cup, you don't remove it and put like each second like you're having sex, right? And also, the menstrual cup is not having the pressure. It cannot exert the type of pressure a penis exerts. So there's no way for those nerves to be excited. Maybe in some women they can get excited because they are sick, like because maybe 1 in 1,000 women they easily get excited when you just touch them. So maybe it can cause them to get excited. If you're a normal woman and todo bien, you insert your menstrual cup, you not get excited.
Oh, interesting. So you're not gonna get an orgasm, calm down.
Yeah.
Can a menstrual cup cause cancer?
Okay, that's another good question. Okay. Menstrual cups are made out of rubber and some out of medical grade silicone. So on which you get menstrual cup for $4, $1, those are cheap ones, but they're not certified. So the difference between a certified cup is that it's made of medical grade silicone. So if you look at a baby's feeding bottle at the tip, you use silicone to make it, and a baby, he keeps on sucking, or she keeps on sucking the feeding bottle, and she never gets cancer. So just to tell that silicone is highly used in medicine for such equipment or for such devices. That's why if you insert it, there's no problem.
So what are the disadvantages of a menstrual cup? We've been praising it so much. Are there any disadvantages to a menstrual cup?
Yeah, there are. But when there are light disadvantages, but I'll just tell you, if you are someone who does not like to see your blood, it's going to be something very impactful because you have to see hot blood in your hands and you'll be like, wow. That's the first disadvantage, I think. The second one is for you to be an expert in this domain of using the menstrual cup, you'll be failing. Like the first time you might get stained, the first time you might feel uncomfortable, but you need to be persistent and say, okay, I'll be able to do that. So it's a training.
It takes practice.
Yeah, it takes practice. It's like a curve that you are first of all very sad, and then you get happy when you become an expert.
Yes.
Yeah, for me those are the disadvantages, and some other girls they have others, but those are the two disadvantages I think.
Yeah, I remember when I was so lost and my period started and I was calling Brenda and she was busy. She was like, you know what, I'll just send you a link, and I was just like, Brenda.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, so we're moving on to menstrual blood. After the collection of the blood, what do I do with the blood?
What do I do with the blood? Usually, what I do personally is that I rinse it out and I dump. But some other girls, they use menstrual blood to water their plants. And they said what they believe is the menstrual blood comes out with an unfertilized egg. And this egg, it was supposed to give life to someone. So this egg is something nutritive. It has a lot of proteins, carbohydrates, lipids. So why not make good use of this and give it to a plant?
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, but not plants that we eat, right? Not crops, ornamental plants, because at the end you don't like to eat a plant that was watered with your menses. So just for a flower, a cactus over there.
Oh,
yeah.
It could be like a menses flower. Is menstrual blood nasty?
Oh, well, for me, I don't think it's nasty. Menstrual blood, it contains lipids, the residues of the uterus, proteins, and I don't think it's nasty because when I remove it, it does not smell. When I use sanitary pads, I feel like it smells, but when I use the menstrual cup, it does not smell. And also, I was giving a workshop one day when I was in my country, and this woman, she told me that if there was a way that you could menstruate and absorb it back, it would be very good. Because you see, in a couple, the women, they always get old so fast because they need to pass through, they need to lose this very rich blood with a lot of lipids and all this each month, but the man does not menstruate. So he's there, he looks young, while the woman each month she's like, oh. And she gets older than her husband. That's what she told me. And for her, menstrual blood is something that she wants, she wishes she can reabsorb. Not
Interesting theory.
Yeah.
Okay, so she thinks it's not nasty. I personally don't think menstrual blood is nasty, but me and blood don't mix. So, what can I use? What can I use my menstrual blood for? Well, we mentioned watering that and all of that.
Another thing is some girls, they use their menstrual blood for pimples. Like if you have a face like mine. Yeah. What they do is that they can collect, or if you're using a sanitary pad, they collect it and they apply on their face.
What?
I've heard a lot. Yeah, I've heard a lot. And they told me, some girls told me it works, but the fact that you don't have access to it every day, you work and the next day you have pimples, like when you're done with your menses. So they wish they could have a way just to have the menses there and the yeah.
Okay, interesting. Anyway, those are all the questions I have. What do you have to say to our females out there, and any last words?
Okay, so our females out there, for me, a menstrual cup, just in general, right? I didn't really want to talk so much about menstrual cup. I want to talk about me being a woman and me being able to accept myself as one. So a menstrual cup really helped me because thanks to it, I was able to finally look at what I have in between my legs, and I became like very anxious first, but it also made me to ask a lot of questions to myself. Okay, for example, I wanted to determine the size of my cervix. I was like, there's no doctor around me. Can I do it myself? Should I be the one to insert it myself? And I'm like, okay, if I can allow a doctor that I don't know, one male doctor, why should I not do it myself? And I was like, okay, it was something very scientific. And I had to keep aside all the cultural misunderstandings, and yeah, I was able to do it, and I feel very happy to be a woman. I now understand why I'm menstruating. I understand why these hormones, they get high sometimes. And to all my girls out there, if you feel like trying a menstrual cup, I advise you to go in for it. If you don't like it, go for other alternatives, but you never know if you like something, so you try.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, thank you very much for visiting my channel. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the part 1 of the menstruation series.
Okay.
Like, comment, share and subscribe. Don't forget, stay safe, avoid coronavirus, wash your hands, don't touch your face, and social distancing. Even though me and Brenda are not doing social distancing, but social distancing. So yeah, bye.